So I got her contract, and then I checked, hey, money, ring. And then I checked the name and I realized, oh, it's not my name. And I had to give the person their contract. And then my contract came. Hi everyone, welcome to the Jerry's. I'm Mrs. Jerry, and thank you so much for passing by the Jerry household. Today, I'm going to be speaking to the matriculants. Well, let's congratulate our matriculants. 2020 was not an easy year, and I can imagine just writing exam and going to class with the mask. Hey, exam kamo, accounting kamo, ya shapa kamo mask, you know? So congratulations to the matriculants. We are so proud of you. And if you did not make it, there's always a second try. You can go and rewrite your matric. And if you do not have a bachelor's pass or whatever it is to go to university, there are many other alternatives. It's not the end of the world. So matriculants, well done and good luck on your first year of varsity. So when I completed my matric, I know that my parents gave me advice, but I didn't really listen, because sometimes when you get advice from someone you're familiar with, yes, you hear, like you listen here and there, but it doesn't really go in. So maybe if you have someone, if you have a child, if you have a friend who has just completed grade 12 and is going into varsity, maybe this video might be helpful for them, because when you go to varsity, you don't know what to expect because you haven't really been there. But you can prepare, like you can thrive in varsity. You can either thrive or fail, but whatever that you do is all up to you, So today I'm going to be talking about the things that I wish someone would have told me before I went to varsity. The first one is relax. Just come down. You have just finished school. You made it and you're going into varsity. Varsity can be overwhelming. All of a sudden you're on your own. If you haven't stayed by yourself, if you didn't go to boarding school or any of that, when you go to varsity, it's the first time you are alone. If you don't stay at rest and you stay in a flat or something, you see different people. They are a lot. The place is big. It's not like high school. Okay, my high school was very small. So it's not like high school where you have like little classroom. Now it's this big place. So relax. You don't have to have everything figured out in the first week. It's okay to get lost sometimes. It's okay to be overwhelmed, but just calm down and take it easy. The second thing is that, you know what, guys? Let me tell you. When I went to varsity, I had a plan. I'm going to study this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. But how does a person who has 4 distinctions fail in varsity, and drop out? Like, it does not make sense. So it means that somewhere along the line, my plan and my actions were not aligned, because I had a plan, but I was not acting towards that plan. So you need to know why you are at varsity. Why are you there? You are not there to party. You are not there for friends. You are not there for boyfriends and relationships. You're not there to do anything else but to study. So you need to know your end goal. Your end goal is that you want to finish. And listen, you don't want to stay go varsity for 7 years. You want to go to varsity, get your degree, and then get out of there. Knowing why you are there. Know your why. You are there to study. You are there to get your degree. Everything else is secondary. It's better to suffer for 4 years. Just suffering isn't like putting in the work, studying, not being distracted by stuff for 4 years, and you get your degree and you go out, than to enjoy momentary pleasure stuff varsity and then find out where you suffer in the long run. So know that monate haufeli. Monate haufeli, there will always be fun, and varsity is fun. Imagine moving from a small town like Lexdorp, and then you come to Joburg. Hey? Tulani comes to Jozi. I mean, you go to UJ, you are seeing all these places, you're seeing all these cool people. Like, you're seeing so many things. And Hudi party, there are clubs, there are all these things. But don't let all those things cloud your judgment. Know that you are here to study. And listen, I think for me, I was suffering from FOMO. If something is happening, I wanted to be there instead of studying, instead of doing my assignments, preparing for a test. I would rather go there because there is the thing that's happening now. Be willing to miss out, because even if you don't go to that party this week, next week there's another party. You'll still be going. You'll still be able to go when you do not have other obligations. So know that when you are there, monate haufeli, study, go into the books and study, and everything else should be secondary. The other thing is money. Guys, when you go to varsity, know that our parents sacrifice so much for us, and that money that they send each month, sometimes parents don't budget for our varsity expenses. So it means that every month it's like a sacrifice to take out that money and send it to you. But when you are at varsity, you think you have so much money because now all of a sudden your mom is sending you 3,000, and you think it's so much, and you spend on this, you spend on that. You don't want to cook, you don't buy groceries, you spend on takeaways and all of that. Listen, when you get money for groceries, buy groceries, because a month is very long and your parents cannot afford. I mean, most of us, our parents cannot afford to be sending you money every 2 weeks. So when they give you money for groceries, learn this is trial adulting. I think varsity is like riding that bicycle 2 wheels. You are learning to be an adult, but you still have the support of your parents. So when you get money, spend it wisely. You can choose to take that money and go out drinking, but know that juggling noodles throughout the month and you'll feel like you're suffering in varsity when you don't have to. So the money that your parents give you, manage it well and use it wisely. Another thing that I saw was that the friends that you choose in varsity are very important for either your success or your failure. Unfortunately with me, I went into varsity and my first week, I met people. They are not bad people. But they were just the wrong people for my career and the path that I wanted to take. Because I met people who were partying, drinking, and those people were not even first year. They were third year, fourth year, or second year, but they were not first year. So these people are already used to the whole structure of varsity. They are used to everything. Now here I am, I'm new, I'm not used to anything. And then I meet people who dragged me into their ways of doing things. You understand? And they are not good. They are not bad people. They are my friends and I love them. But at that time, I realized that meeting them was not the best for me. So choose your friends. Choose people who are aligned with what you want to see in your life. If you want to graduate, if you want to pass, graduate, do well at school, then choose people who have the same values and the same mindset. Because if you don't get people like that, you're just going to end up doing like me, just partying every weekend, not going, not studying. Tomorrow you're writing a test at 4 a.m. you're still at the club, and that is not going to work out well for you. So choose your friends wisely. And also relationships. I think there are people who met in varsity, and then they went on to get married. But relationships also are a distraction, because if you are meeting a person who is not aligned with your goal, who is not aligned with your goals, then the person can easily take you out of focus, out of reaching your goals. And sometimes because you're in varsity, you're exposed to so many things. It's not only the people that are in varsity that you're exposed to. You're also exposed to divulture. There was a meme somewhere where all these blessers were just waiting for first year students, and actually I feel that's what happens, because can you stock, when first year students come in, can you stock, the third year students, all of them are just checking new stock. So there are vultures, there are people just waiting to just devour new blood, So you need to be very careful as to what you allow into your life and what you expose yourself to, and the kind of relationships that you get into. Because it's easy to get a blesser who's going to give you money every month. But remember that blesser also wants you to be going out with him you don't see the necessity of studying because you are busy doing other things. So don't do that. Rather focus on your studies, and it will definitely pay off. Another thing that's very important that I saw when I was going into varsity is that, like I said, exposure when I was speaking about blessers and vultures and everything, but it's also exposure to different things. Like, you meet people who are into different things. You meet people who are into weed. You meet people who are into drugs. You meet people just have their own things. And all of a sudden, you are no longer shielded and protected. You are just exposed to all of these things. And it is up to you as a person to say no to those things and to focus on your studies and focus on your life. Because there are things that you can meet, that you can be exposed to in varsity, that will have an impact on your life forever. From that time until you die, you will have a mistake that you did in varsity that you cannot take back. You need to be very careful, because I remember that you think that when you go to varsity, the temptations that come will just come all at once. Everything. No, they come bit by bit. You'll be exposed to someone who smokes weed or who just smokes cigarettes, and then after that, someone who just smokes weed. And then after that, someone who does now hardcore drugs. And one time when you're at a party, you're like, let me try weed, or let me try drugs. Then you end up being hooked in something that you didn't want to get into in the first place. So take care of yourself. Be responsible for your life, because your parents are not there to guard you or to check you every day. Are you coming home? Are you studying? Are you doing all those things? So you need to be responsible for your life. And if you have received a bursary or a scholarship or anything that pays for your studies, guys, just study, because varsity fees are so expensive. You cannot afford to lose your bursary, to lose your scholarship. So make sure that when you even have funding, work even harder, so that these bursaries, usually they do yearly reviews, and then they will check at the end of the year how you're doing, and then fund you for the next year. If you don't have to pay for your school, for your varsity fees, don't put yourself in a situation where you fail a module and you have to pay for it, or your parents have to pay for it. Don't do that. If you are given money, use it wisely. Grab the opportunity, because there are many people who are stuck at home who cannot study. But not because of your marks, because of whatever you have received, you are able to do it. So grab that opportunity and don't take it for granted. I had a bursary. My bursary was paying my studies. I even had a bursary from the university. I got a discount from the university, and I had a bursary. But do you know what we did with that bursary money? We drank it, me and my friends. They also had bursaries. And we drank that money the day the statements showed what we were spending the money on. It was so shameful, because we were wasting money, and that's money that you need to pay for your studies. So if you have a bursary, please hold on to it. Another thing is, at varsity, you're not just there to just have a good time and then graduate and then go. There are lessons that you can learn, that you can use in your life. Remember, you're not a child anymore. You are actually slowly getting into adulthood, So if you can get a part-time job, if you can volunteer somewhere, do it. Get a part-time job, earn some money. As long as it does not clash with your studies or interrupt your studies, do it. Get some extra cash. Save up. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Because imagine if you have a part-time job and at the end of your schooling, then you just have money saved up. You can do a lot of things. It can be a good start for you. So if you can get a part-time job, if you have a skill, if you can do something, do it. Use your talents, because it doesn't mean that because now you're just studying a course, then that's all. You can use other means. You can learn other skills while you're at it. So don't just focus on, when I get my degree, then I will get a job. Then no. While you are there, look for opportunities and grab opportunities. So you need to know that varsity can be such a wonderful time for you. It can be a time of growth, of connection, of just experiencing new things. And you can have a good time. Guys, I had a roommate, a flatmate. And my flatmate used to have so much fun. And she wasn't partying or drinking like me. But her life, like the friends that she had, they used to do such cool stuff, And I look back, I'm like, why didn't I join her crew? You can do so many things. You can build so many relationships that are healthy for you, that will go with you into your adult life. But if you think that varsity is just fun and games because you have freedom, then that's not going to end up well for you. You can have freedom, but you are free to do whatever you want, but you don't get to choose the consequences of your actions. So you must know that whatever you do, it will affect you. And I'm speaking as a person who failed, who dropped out of varsity. And I'm speaking to you because I know the mistakes that I made. And I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made. I want you to enjoy your life, to redeem the time. 4 years is a long time. I spent 3 years in varsity. 3 years, and I failed all of them. Kind of 3 years is a whole degree. Do you understand that I set myself back? I could have been further, but because of my mistakes and the things that I did, I was actually left behind. And you work double now. You have to work double. I'll give you an example. When I got the learnership from Siemens, I got there. When I got there, we were given contracts. So there was two learnerships. One was people with degrees, and one was people with just matric. So I accidentally got the lady sitting. I accidentally got the person's and like another person's contract. So I got her contract, and then I checked, money, ring. And then I checked the name and I realized, it's not my name. And I had to give the person their contract. And then my contract came. And the money was so little. Like my heart, guys, when I looked at the rent and all the things that I had to do with that money, and I saw that, had I finished my degree, I would have been earning this much just for a degree. So you see that even though people say a degree is not everything, but it does put you like a step in yana. When people see your qualification, it furthers you. So know that just do it one time and finish it. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that this video can help you somewhere, somehow, or it can help your child, it can help your sister, whatever the case may be. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you next time.